Hi, good evening. I just want to see whether people can hear me, and I'm also waiting for people to join this live. So it's 8 o'clock in Melbourne, and I'm ready to share my story and my experience, my knowledge with the group. So first of all, thank you, Wes, for giving me the opportunity to present here. So really appreciate the university, the opportunity to be here, and I hope everyone gets some value out of it. So now, how I got started with what I'm doing is that I personally believe that this world is full of abundance. So there is enough on earth to give everyone an abundant life. And of course, if you look at the world now, whether it's on a global level or whether it's just within a particular country, we notice that this is not reflected in our reality. There are people that are living without, a lot of people living not in abundance. Then I questioned why. Like in a world where if there is abundance, why are some people not living with abundance? And so I thought, well, is there anything I can do to help people to do that? And is there anything I can do to help people experience an abundant life? And so that is a question that has been going on in my head for since I was young. And and that aside, in my other life, I run a company that sells properties, and what I've noticed is that I will be selling the same property, the same price in the same project, the same location, to let's say two different people. One client will be purchasing one property, two properties, three properties, and then she always have a good tenants, and she becomes quite abundant in her investment. Whereas another client will be going through absolute hell. There'll be issue with settlement. There'll be issue with other things that's going in his life. And I thought, why are people having so different experiences if I'm also when we're presenting the same thing? So the question is, the answer is obviously the two people, because they are the only things that are different in this experience. And then and I thought, well, what is driving people to have different experiences? And I thought, well, is it because of well, the knowledge, what they know, or is it because of something else deeper? Now, the answer, I'll give you the answer straight away. The answer is that is our subconscious belief and our soul contracts. And I'll explain what they are. Subconscious belief, I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about, is when you grow up, whether it's your parents, your culture, your religion, or your just your life experience, create certain belief systems in your subconscious mind, which will dictate how you behave. But on a deeper level, on a soul level, there are things that affect the experience in your life as well, and those are what I call soul contracts. So I'll explain to you how I come across this concept of soul contracts and what I dealt with it. So going back to 2012. And I was personally not in a very good state in terms of my career and my finance, where I noticed that I was doing really well. I was working for a real estate agency, and I was making sales. I was doing well, but it is not reflected in my income. And also, I noticed that I was hitting a ceiling in terms of where I can grow in this company, and also the amount of income that I can make. I noted that there's a ceiling that I'm hitting. And then I look back on previous jobs that I've had. I've always experienced the same pattern. So I'll go into a job. A lot of times I'll go into a brand new industry, and then I'll put in 120% of my efforts, and I'll do really well. I remember I got into the banking industry for the first time in year 2000. I've never been in banking before, and within the first year, I was the number one salesperson in the whole division. And then I joined a consulting company in Melbourne, and then once again I was doing really well, and then delivered like millions and millions of dollars of a revenue for the company. However, every job I've always had where I would do really well, I always get to a point where both my income and my opportunity get stuck, as in I can't go forward. So the universe allowed me to have an opportunity to sit next to a person at a friend's wedding, and he actually does Akashic Records reading. So I was just having a chat with him, and I said, well, I seem to be experiencing this issue with my work right now, and it seems that the pattern repeats in my previous jobs, and it seems to be something that I can't break out of. Then he explains to me that whenever we see patterns in our lives, that's because we have agreed to it when we were incarnated into this life. That is, we were asking for, we are getting what we asked for. Just think of life as a virtual reality games that you're playing. So you walk into a game shop, and then you put on your virtual reality goggle, and you told the person that in this game I want to experience this, and this. So the gamer, the game shop, they will put that in the program. Say, okay, you in this game you want to experience this, and this. All right, put in your goggle, and then you jump into this virtual reality game. So this is like life. So life is like a game that we're playing, where we before we come in, we set up certain parameters and sign certain soul contracts of what we want to experience. So we come into this life, we get exactly what we asked for. The problem is that as part of the condition of coming to this life is amnesia. We did not remember where we came from, and we did not remember what contracts or what parameters we've set up in this game of life. And that's why we keep experiencing the same pattern. And it's not just in the area of finance or money. In relationships, I'm sure that you would have either personally or know people that have experienced where you come across a partner, and then there was some issue, and then you meet another partner which you believe that will have does not have the same issue as the previous partner, and at the end you see the same pattern, and then you go through partner after partner, and then you realize that the same pattern is appearing in every relationship, maybe slightly different but the same thing. So with there are patterns like this, that's because we have a soul contract that we've agreed to before we come to this life. So you might ask, so you may still think that I still don't grasp the concept of soul contract or subconscious belief. So think of it this way. Think of you flying from Melbourne to Los Angeles, and you are the pilot. And with most modern airplanes, we have an autopilot. So before the pilot even starts the plane, the destination Los Angeles airport has already been programmed into the plane. So the plane takes off, and that's where it's going. So halfway across the Pacific, for some strange reason, you decided, I want to fly to Seattle. So you change the plane a little bit to go to Seattle, and then so the plane head towards Seattle, and then as a pilot, they decide to, you go to sleep or do other things, and guess what? The plane's autopilot automatically adjusts the plane to go back to head towards Los Angeles. At the end, you still ended up in landing in Los Angeles. So it's like a lot of experience that we have in your life where we might come across certain changes in our lives or certain opportunities, but then at the end, we always ended up where we have set our parameters for. I'll give you a couple of other examples because I think people relate to examples better. So these are real life examples as well, by the way. So I've got a friend of mine. He was in a good government job. He is making above average salary, very stable, working for the government, and have a good place to live, and just generally having a stable, maybe ordinary but stable life. Then fortunately or unfortunately, one of his relatives passed away. His auntie passed away, and then he received an inheritance of $500,000. So you might think that, well, that's a good thing. And then especially when this happened 10 years ago, $500,000 could have allowed my friend to acquire assets, buy his own house, and do a lot of things with the money. However, he then decided to use the money to start a business, and he has got no business experience ever. But he believes that from what he's done in the governments, he'll be able to start his business and do well. So he quit his government job, spend the money, start a business, and just keep running and keep burning through the cash. And I guess you can guess the end of the story. 2 years later, all the inheritance is gone. He's burned it up completely. He spent all his other savings, and his business didn't go well, and he no longer has the stable government job. He was in a much worse shape financially and career-wise 2 years after he got into the inheritance. And I think we've all heard other stories where people win the lottery, and then usually 2 or 3 years later, they are in a worse shape than they were before. And then there's another example where someone I know, he was doing quite well in life. He's got his own business. He's got a few properties, and he was kind of doing well. However, he got involved with a particular business opportunity that allowed him to earn a lot more money through passive income. It's like a multi-level marketing kind of company, which allowed him to make money passively without having to work. And so the way he did was he closed down his business, and he said, "Well, I found my dream life," and then he was living what would you call the Instagram lifestyle, where he's always traveling around the world, always staying somewhere by the beach, sipping a cocktail, and then occasionally putting photo of himself on Instagram or Facebook, and say, "Oh, look, I've joined this multi-level marketing company, and now I don't have to work. I just sit by the pool every day, and then make my passive income." So that was quite good for about 6 months, and then he did everything possible to sabotage his own life. So he sold all his properties, put the money, basically gamble all his money away, and then stopped putting in effort into even his multi-level marketing business. And then he got to a point where he's got no assets, and he had less than $50 in his bank account. It went from like this to like this, and so these are two pretty bad examples. And then you start to question whether the opportunity that they received, whether it was the inheritance or the opportunity to make money through a multi-level marketing, were blessings or curse. The answer to that is really depends on the person. If that person has the right parameters in their soul and their subconscious, the opportunity to come would have been a blessing that would have allowed them to take off and move to the next level. But if the soul contract and the subconscious belief do not support that, that will become a curse, because at the end of the day, the autopilot will always take you to what your soul and what your subconscious decided you should be, and then all these add-ons will just be sabotaged away. So these are some of the examples of people's soul conscious and subconscious belief creating the reality that they experience in life. So the question I want you to ask yourself is, like right now, you're looking at your life right now. Are there areas in your life where you are not, you don't think that you experience the best, whether it's relationship, money, job, health, or whatever? Is there any area in your life where you believe that you're not experiencing fully in an abundant way? And secondly, do you see any pattern in that particular area in terms of relationship, in terms of money, in terms of career or health? Do you see a pattern repeating itself? And if your answer to either question is yes, then what the bad news is that there is some patterns in your soul which is preventing you from having those experiences. But the good news is also that now that you know there is, that you can do something about it. So which is where where I come in to share what can be done about it. So back to my experience. So I was saying back 2012, I was going through a lot of hard times in terms of money and work. So in just my work, I was not going anywhere. I was just having pattern after pattern, and then I was doing some other investment, and that was also not going well. So I felt that I was stuck in a particular pattern that I can't break through. So by chance, I met a guy that does Akashic Records, and he explained to me what Akashic Records are, and how their soul contracts. Once they are removed, then I will no longer have to experience these patterns. And I decided that yes, I'll go ahead. So I booked a session with him, and then he opened my Akashic Records, identified the contract that was basically acting as my own blockage or sabotage, and then removed it. Within 2 months, my career took off. I was promoted to be a head of a department, and then my income practically doubled from where I was before. And then so I thought to myself, that either worked, or it was just a very nice coincidence. And that after being stuck in this pattern for so long, finally I was able to break through and move forward. So anyway, I stay in that. So I keep growing, and then a year later, again, I hit another ceiling where, in terms of both opportunity and income, I felt stuck in my career. So I went back to the guy. I booked another session with him. He opened my Akashic Records, find the soul contract, removed it, and then similar things happened. My income practically doubled within about 2 or 3 months after the clearing. And I thought, that's really good. And then again, a year and a half later, I hit another ceiling, and then I worked with him again. Once again, he opened my Akashic Records, find the soul contract that was creating the sabotage, removed it, and then my life transformed. I ended up starting my own business and doing more. So I noticed that my life was going like this. I hit a plateau. With going to my Akashic Records, have the blockage removed. Then I keep going to another level where then I was stuck again, and I open Akashic Records, go in, remove the soul contract, the blockage, and I keep going again. So I noticed that it works, and obviously I know it works because it's happened. It worked for me. Always so for so many years since I started engaging this guy to read my Akashic Records. Then an opportunity came. where I was able to learn to read Akashic Records myself. So I went all the way to Central America, spent about 3 weeks, and then learned the arts and science of opening Akashic Records, because I thought either I want to learn the technique myself so that I can open it, or if I continue to engage this person, at least I've got some background understanding of what it means. So then I learned Akashic Records reading, and then I felt that I was quite gifted in it because I started doing reading for other people, for myself, and I was very spot on what I read. And so that is my journey with Akashic Records. Let's park that aside. Separately, I was exposed to what is called Neurolinguistic Programming, or NLP. And people were saying that, well, if you're in sales or doing any kind of entrepreneurship, it's important to learn NLP because it helps you to better communicate with other people. It helps you to influence other people. I said, great, I will sign up and learn NLP. So I did. And so I did NLP practitioner, and I did hypnostics, and I learned a master NLP. I become a master NLP practitioner. There is one particular modality in NLP called timeline therapy, which I was really good at. It's like there's so many tools and techniques and modalities in NLP that they were taught to me, but timeline therapy, I just nailed it, as if almost like it was a second nature to me. And I strongly believe that I was doing that in my past life. So in this life, when I learned it, I just pick it up straight away. It's the only module where after I learned it, I can do it without even reading my book or going through my notes. Whereas if I use other NLP techniques, I'll probably need my book or notes in front of me to go through it. But timeline therapy, I just nailed it. I can do it on myself. I can do it on other people, and I don't need to refer to any notes. I just know intuitively. I just know how to use it. So for those who are not familiar with neurolinguistic programming or timeline therapy, let me explain how it works. So with timeline therapy, basically a client will come to you with a particular problem. The problem is usually a negative emotion or a negative belief system. So for example, someone may be angry all the time, or someone may be sad all the time, or not necessarily all the time, but someone may experience sadness, may experience anger, or may experience other negative emotions that affect how they conduct their life, or they have a particular negative belief system that is also affecting how they experience life. And so with timeline therapy, basically the practitioner put the client into a trance, and then the practitioner will ask the client's subconscious mind to identify the first event that created this particular negative emotion. For example, I'm just making a random example. You feel sad because 10 years ago your cat died, and then you were really sad at the time, and then you continue to carry that sadness to this life, to this point in your life. So that could be a triggering event that causes sadness. However, there may be other events before that that could be in this life or past life which created the first sadness that you experience. So in this life, when your cat passed away, you hold on to the sadness more strongly than what is considered normal. So in timeline therapy, the practitioner put the client in trance and go back to the first event, which could be 5, 10, 20 lifetimes ago. And then the practitioner would then guide the client to go back to the first event and then extract the learnings from the event, what you are meant to learn from that event. And because for whatever experience that we get, we experience that because there's lessons for us to learn. And if we don't learn the lesson, that's when the pattern keep repeating. Like, oh, you haven't learned the lesson, so your life, the game of life, send you another event. So, well, now see whether you can learn it this time. You didn't learn it, and then you move on. The game of life then again throw you another event until you actually learn it. So how do you resolve this? Well, learn the lesson. So with talent therapy, you go back to the first event. You pick up the lessons. The lessons could be from many lifetimes ago, but once you learn it, then the energy dissipates, and then coming back into this lifetime, then that particular negative emotions or belief system will then be uprooted from your subconscious mind. And then you move forward into the future to see whether that negative emotion or belief system are still there. If they are not, then basically you're done. You've removed that particular negative emotions and negative belief system. So that's timeline therapy. Now, what I've learned, what I've done is that I thought to myself one day, well, why can't I combine the two modality? So both modalities allow me to go to the client and to go back to the first event that has caused a particular pattern in his life. So in Akashic Records, basically, I open the record, I talk to the librarian, or some people call the laws of the Akashic Records. So they are if you like, the beings that basically protects and guards the Akashic Records. So basically, I go to the librarian, the laws of Akashic Records. I said, this particular person has this pattern. Take me to the event that it first happened. And they take me there and they show me what it is. So that's how Akashic Records works. Whereas timeline therapy, I rely on the client. So I put the client into trance and ask the client, take me to the first event that has happened. So I thought, well, they're both doing the same thing, whether I'm being taken to the first event, and then I will then do something to erase or cancel the first event, and then that will create miracles in this life. So I thought, well, perhaps I can open the Akashic Records of a client, go to the librarian, find out what the first event is, and then on behalf of the client, perform timeline therapy with his Akashic Records open, with all the lessons extracted, and then the issue basically goes away. And I come back, the timeline has changed. It's almost like we've quantumly jumped to a different reality where that issue no longer exists. And so I thought, well, in theory, that seems to work. So how does it work in practice? So one day I was traveling. I was in Brisbane, and I was catching up with a friend for dinner. And my friend seems to be depressed or stressed over his business. So I asked him, like, what's going on? Why are you so stressed out? And then he said, well, I've been running this business for like 10 years, but for the past 3 years, I can't communicate with my business partner. We only talk to each other through lawyers, and which means that it's really stressful, really expensive. I can't move on with the business because I can't make any decision without my business partner agreeing to it. But then that means going through the lawyer, and then most of the time nothing gets agreed on. So he's stuck, and he's been stuck for 3 years, not going anywhere. And then so I said to him, I said, well, let me use this modality to help you. Let me open your Akashic Records, find out what is causing this particular experience in your life, and then I can use talent therapy to clear whatever contracts that you sign up from the past life. And he was very open-minded. He said, yes, please do that. So long story short, a few days later, and it was probably 11:30 p.m., I remember. And then I thought, let me do this for my friend because I promised him to. And so I opened his Akashic Records. asked the Akashic Records librarian what the first event is. I went there, did timeline therapy, extracted the lessons, cleared the energy, came back. And then after that, I basically they went to sleep. The next day, I just go on with whatever I was doing. I remember I was in a conference. So I went to my conference. So from the time before, so my friend did not know that I was doing a reading for him that night, and he did not know that I've done the reading for him, because I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I was thinking about maybe calling him the night after my conference. So anyway, during lunchtime, he called me. Um, I said, "Oh, David, like something strange happened. I woke up this morning and then I have a download for my dreams of how to resolve a problem. And not only that, I called my lawyer, told my lawyer to communicate to the other side that this is my offer. My lawyer told me that the other side would never accept, but if you insist, I will go to the other side and present what you are offering." And the offering was basically what he downloaded in his dream. And miraculously, his business partner accepted his offer. And within 3 weeks, everything was resolved. So he got the money, he bought out his business partner, and then he owns the business 100%. The issue that he could not resolve for the past 3 years was resolved overnight, just like that, because of the clearing in his Akashic records of the soul blockage. And then now his business is doing really well. He's exporting internationally and just growing nonstop. His health got a lot better because before that he was very stressful, and then he was quite unhealthy. His health got better. He's a lot happier. He's making a lot more money. His business is taking off. So every area of his life has a tick to it. And I thought, wow, if that worked, that really worked. Like it was like creating a miracle. And then another friend of mine came to me. So I was sharing this with some other people, and some people may think, oh, it's a coincidence, and or some people we try to rationalize it through whatever the belief system that they have. Anyway, another friend of mine came to me and said that I've been running this business for 10. There's another friend of mine. He's been running a particular business for like 10 years, but he does not enjoy the business. He tried to expand, but it never existed. He will open a second shop. The second shop will fail and have to close it down. So he's running with just one shop. He does not enjoy the what he's doing, but he felt stuck that he has to do it because he's got a family with 2 kids to feed. He can't just like close the shop and do whatever he wants. And so he felt, David, I'm stuck. I've been doing this business for 10 years and I can't get out of it because then my family will starve. I have to keep going, but I don't enjoy it. So I said, okay, let me open your Akashic records to find out what is blocking you or stopping you from having the life that you should enjoy and deserve. So I did that. Same thing, open his Akashic records, find out what the blockages are, perform timeline therapy, extracted the learnings, and then clear the blockage. They told me the next day he got a call from a friend with a business idea. And the business idea happens to be exactly what he wanted to do. And then within 6 months, he's got suppliers, customers, everything lined up. And then now his new business is thriving. So he no longer has to be stuck in the old business. Now he's doing a new business, very successful, and it is exactly what he wanted to do. And his life is fulfilled. And I'm like, wow. And then another miracle created. And these are big things because these people are running multi-million dollars business. So I would have made extra $1 million for them just by clearing the blocks. And then I kept using this technique that I've created. I call it timeline manifestation because I am manifesting the ideal life for people that I work for. And then I did it for some other friends, and I've got a friend that that was actually running a successful business, and then he was making probably 180 $200,000 a year. He's doing well, but he does not like the business. He's always stressed out, and that the stress carries back into his domestic life. So he's always arguing with his wife, and you just not. I mean, he's making business. He's good, but he's not enjoying it. So I did timeline manifestation on him. Within the first 2 months, I'm like, shit. Sorry, I'm still swearing. What have I done? Because his business started failing. He started having a lot of issues, and then within 2 months, his whole business collapsed, gone. And I'm like, oh shit, what have I done? But as Phoenix rises from the ashes, he started another business, and then he really enjoyed the new business. And then within 3 months after that, his new business was bringing in over $400,000 revenue per year. And then he said he's got like clients booked up for the next 6 months. And I'm like, wow, that's another miracle created. Except this time, the experience wasn't an overnight miracle. He has to go through a dismantling or destruction of his current structure for him to build a new structure. But now his new structure is just so much better. He's so much happier. He's deeply in love with his wife, and his business is making more than twice of what he was making before. And that transformation was like less than 6 months. And I can attest that everyone that I've performed this timeline manifestation for, every one of them has come back with significant changes in their lives, whether it's in their relationships or in their health, in their wealth, in their business or in their job. It's like a wholesale life transformation, and then every box is ticked. And so I'm very grateful that I had the experience. I had the opportunity to learn Akashic Records and also time therapy, and I'm also very grateful for the guidance to combine the two into this unique technique. And then it just blows my mind all the time when I use timeline manifestation for people, and then they come back and say, "Oh, David, you did it for me 2 days ago, and today I got approached for my dream job." Or David, you did it for me the last week. 2 days later, I got a call from someone who told me that the money that I thought I've lost many years ago, I've completely forgotten about. Now I'm getting it back, and this happened actually last week. So a friend of mine, his family put some money into some investment many years ago, and that failed, and they thought they've lost the money, so they've completely forgotten about it. It's like it happened many years ago. It's a bad investment decision. The money's gone. Okay, moves on. They've completely forgotten about it. And then so a couple of weeks ago, I did a timeline manifestation for him. I think 3 days later, his family got a call out of the blue from a lawyer to say that, oh, by the way, do you remember the investment you put in like that many years ago? Well, we managed to recover some of the money. So now you will get a portion of the money back, just like that, out of the blue. And so I hear this kind of every time I do the timeline manifestation for people, I get feedback like that. Sometimes it's overnight, sometimes it's 2 or 3 days later, sometimes it may be 2 months, sometimes it may be 6 months, because some people need to go through the some kind of deconstruction of a current structure before they rebuild a structure that fit them. But it works for everyone that I've performed this for so far. And so I've come to realize that maybe this is what I'm called for. So maybe I'm called, and then maybe I have the opportunity to learn and create this technique so that I can help people. So instead of allowing people to just go through life years after years after years, going through the same pattern, living an unfulfilled life and not learning the lessons, and then if you believe in um, reincarnation, they may come back in the next life and then go through the same pattern and again and again and again, not learning the lessons, and this cycle goes on. Maybe I'm here to help people fast track their ascent. Maybe I can use this technique to help people find out what lessons they're meant to learn, what sabotage and blockages are in their soul, have them removed, so then they can move on to the next level. They can have fulfillment in their life, they can have abundance in their life, and that's what we are meant to experience. We are meant to experience joy, happiness, peace, abundance in this life. No question about it. This is our birthright, to have abundance, to have happiness, to have joy. Like, no question about it. So I'm here to help people experience that, to have a wholesale transformation of their life. And so that's it. So I've given you I've explained to you what this modalities is, and what Akashic Record is, and how I can use it to how I create a new technique to help people have a wholesale transformation of their lives, and just live a life that is totally fulfilled and in abundance. And I hope that give you I hope that takes something in your mind, and also arouse your curiosity, and hopefully you learn something that you haven't learned before. Maybe you challenge your existing belief system. But I sincerely hope that you can gain something from this presentation. Is there anything the viewers or listeners could do now to get an idea of what their conscious is, or how to identify those situations long ago that are holding them back? Well, if you are interested in experiencing, or if you are experiencing certain patterns in your life that you want to remove, you can contact me, and then I can we can book in a session, and I can do the session for you, and remove whatever that is blocking you from your life. So so you can send me a private message, or you can write a comment here, and then I'll contact you. Okay. So if there's no more questions, I will finish this live presentation, and I hope to hear from some of you again. All right. Have a good life.